In some cases, it will just be impossible. I mean, there will be no way for you to have that same. Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to share you the 5 lessons I've learned with the experience that I have remodeling. So now, in the past few years, I've done the 3 major types, or the 3 most common types of remodelations, which are restoration, which is taking the project, taking the building back to its original conditions; annexes, which is adding a space on an existing house, which means adding a new room, adding a pool, adding a terrace. In my case, I added a bathroom, and I also did an addition, which is increasing the existing size of a specific room. For example, making a bedroom bigger, making a living room bigger, which was the job that I did. So I'm gonna put here the videos for you to check it, all of those projects one by one. So I'm doing this video because there are certain rules from general construction that doesn't apply to this specific type of construction, which is remodelation. And these are rules that you as client, you as house owner need to know. And if there's any architect or engineer, a builder watching this video, you must know these too, because some of these lessons I learned it in the hard way. So I want you to watch this video for 2 main reasons. One, to fully explore the potential of the resources that you're gonna put into, and to explore the potential of the architect or the builder that you will hire. And the other reason is to give you a glimpse of the experience that you will face as project owner. And most of these lessons are also advices for you to take in consideration, to have written properly in a legal contract, to avoid unpleasant surprises, and to have the builder keep their word up to the end. By the way, and a very quick note here, I've already made videos that will help you with these recommendations that I'm giving you. So I'm putting a really quick tag every time I do a recommendation. Check that tag for you to look at the new video. So having said this, let's go to the lessons. And lesson number 1 is remodelation costs. So the regular price for construction projects will depend on the size of the project that you're doing and the type of finishes that you are doing, because you're building from scratch. But in remodelations, it's very difficult to give you a rough number, even at the first 3 meetings, because you don't know what you will keep, what you will discard, and a lot will also depend on the final finishes. You might even need building plans if you're doing a major remodelation. Also, because the client could have been living there for quite some time, he may not have the original plans of the house that were used when the original construction was being done. So it will be very hard for you to see if there were any original mistakes that were hidden during the construction, or even mistakes on the quality of the builder at the time, until you start doing the remodelation. So talk to your client about this, that you may face extra tasks or extra construction activities, especially if you're doing repairs or structural or plumbing or electric activities, because these things will be hidden. And if you don't tell him this, you may look like somebody that is trying to scam the client, because some clients said that you should have known this, but it was impossible to be seen until you started the remodelation. So my recommendations are, if you're the architect or the builder, go there and inspect the site at least 3 times before talking about budgets and rough prices, because you're taking a project that somebody else has started and you are not responsible for that. 2, ask a list of images of what your client have in mind, so you can have a very comprehension of the project that he or she is envisioning. And the 3rd recommendation that I would do is to talk to the client and ask upfront, right straight, what's the budget that he or she has for this project. Go by activities. Say, this activity could be this much. This other activity or task could be this much. So he knows if he has a realistic or unrealistic budget. Now let's go with lesson number 2, and that lesson is finishes. Because you'll probably have a client that's been living there for quite some time, or he bought the house as an existing property. It will be very difficult to find the same finishes, and you don't even know if these finishes are still being fabricated or manufactured. In some cases, it will just be impossible. I mean, there will be no way for you to have that same color or to replicate that same texture, for example, with finishes. If you do exterior painting, you might be able to find the right paint, but because of the sun, because this house has been painted for 5-10 years, the sun has taken a toll on that property, and you'll not, even if you find the same color and you apply it, you will see a difference of the old tone and the new tone. And with tiles, you might be able to find the same color but not the same size. So my recommendation for this advice, for this lesson, is don't try to imitate what is existing on the house. Go for a new and bold approach that will make your life as owner easier, and also the architect, because let's face it, that's a reality. And if you start looking and searching for the same finishes, you'll spend way more time on a task that you'll probably will not get it done anyway. Now, lesson number 3, and that is that every remodelation is an opportunity to improve. And I'm not talking just to improve the size of the house or increase the size of the house. I'm talking about changing the appeals, changing the vibe that the house could give you. And by just going a little extra bucks on tiles, or there are some even ceiling works that doesn't even cost much than a traditional ceiling, and also a new, more modern lights and painting will give you a new vibe, will give you a new feeling of that house. You'll be happy, you'll see the money that you get invested more if you go for this type of improvement that going just with the same looks that you already had all the time that you've been living in the property. My recommendation is, along going with advices, my recommendations number 1 and 2, go to Pinterest and look for that new bold approach and new modern vibe of the house that you may be able to get for the same price of the project that you had envisioned. After that, go to places like Amazon or Alibaba to go and find some really nice lamps, really nice faucets that if you start looking over here, you might not be able to find, or if you do find them, they'll cause you an eye of your face. Lesson number 4. Doing the job, working while the person is living on the house. So this could be a very sensitive topic, because if you're doing a remodelation and if your client is currently living while you're doing the remodelation job, that could be very stressful for him or her, and they will be more sensitive in terms of, I need you to finish quickly, you're making too much noise, this is too much, this is too dirty, there's a lot of dust everywhere. And you need to tell your client before you start to doing the job. In some cases, he might need to move shortly while you're doing the remodelation, especially if you're working on areas like bathrooms or kitchen that you'll need to use in a daily basis, and there's no way around. You will need to go to the bathroom and you'll need to get some food at the kitchen. So talk him or her this situation for him to prepare psychologically, mentally, and for him to think about if he or she may be in the need of moving temporarily while the construction is done. My recommendation for this situation is to schedule the job for summer. In Panama, we have rain and no rain. But with me giving you this recommendation, you at least have the weather playing in your favor instead of doing this on winter, because rain sometimes doubles the delivery date of a project. And the final lesson number 5 that I'm sharing with you today is that even though remodelations are sometimes a smaller job or an easier job at first sight, they will have more details, and it will be more tricky and difficult than building from scratch. So what do I mean by this? You'll have to do more process than in a regular construction, and this goes with the costs and the presentation of the budget that you'll give into the client. So this is both a tip for the client to expect this, what I'm about to tell you, and also for the builder to consider everything that I'm gonna mention. And I'm gonna give you an example. For instance, if you're doing a tile job, you may be in the need of taking out the tiles that are next to the space or the room that you are remodeling because they don't match, they don't look good, and probably you'll need to take that specific area and a little bit more, or probably the entire area that is exactly next to the place that you are remodeling. And that may affect the cost directly. So this is the video that I prepared for you today. I hope that you like this video. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Drop me a like, share, and subscribe to the channel so I can keep posting more info about building, architecture, and Boquete. The best place to live if you want to live a relaxed and calm lifestyle. See you the next time. Take care. Bye-bye.